had to bring my violin for repair to a violin maker. And the whole atmosphere in his shop was fascinating. So I couldn't make one when I was 10 years old, but later on it never left me, so I had to try it. I made my first instrument when I was 20. You never, how much you try, can repeat the same sound in two instruments. That's kind of the fascination of making violins, because you never can guarantee the end result. It might be great or less great, and you have to take that. I'm very pleased when people play them, and of course the better the player is, the more pleased you are. It's the same as with garden products. You give a wonderful set of garden tools in the hands of a skilled gardener, and he makes a great garden. So it's the garden itself that is important, and of course the joy of creating it with good tools, but the instrument itself is just a tool. I started working at Fiskars in 1971 as production manager or supervisor in the orange handle scissor production. I was thrilled by working with something that every person could get in contact with. The first product, which I can say I designed from beginning to end, was a very simple, small scissors sharpener. When that went to market and I could actually see it in the shop, I was extremely proud. I was very much involved in that, a small knife sharpener that I think we have sold some almost 20 million of now. And we received, to my surprise, a design award in Holland in 1988 for that. That's the first international award, and I felt a little bit like a king that time. Working with a lot of dust and things like that, I finally caused asthma. And I had it on the table, and I was hard working with my brain to try to find a solution, how to get more efficiency out of your hand, more movement for the strong fingers and so on. And suddenly when I saw this one, I understood that if you put it to rotate, this gave the idea to these products. So in a way, if you can see some similarity between these parts, at least 20 or 30 prototypes were made. Later on, we came on an idea how to make it a little bit easier without a wire and actually a gear. Most things can actually be done better. If you can simplify something that is complicated, then it's good. If you can make it more efficient or less painful to use or more fun to use, or if you can't do anything of that, but you can find a method how to make it at half the price, then it's also an improvement of the product. An invention I would be proud of, coming up with a simple, very, very useful bicycle. That I would be proud of. The bicycle, definitely. Because the bike is such a simple, good device and cheap and low energy for moving. So I presume that in the future we will have to bike a lot more than we do today. I saw an instrument which was developed 100 years ago with a small horn on the side of it, made from aluminum mostly, which was used for recording industry at the time when there was no electricity. And I couldn't get that off my mind. That one led to need to improve on it and see how close you could get to a violin, or could you make it better or lighter or so on, and could you get a musician to accept it? Because it's such a deviation from the traditional violin icon, which has the shapes it always has had. I found it sometimes strange that modern music is played on a Baroque instrument. It could be as well of any shape, but people are so kind of locked to the shape that anything else is almost funny. I found some who found pleasure in playing an instrument like this, but this was very much a challenge to see what you can do more than an idea of making good business.